showtime is here, so on with the show. Let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
Well, the GOP wants you DEAD. We're going to talk about that. And what have you done on social media for the last 5 years? Trump wants to know. We're going to talk about that and so much more. And Ember's got a lot to say.
Uncensored, unfiltered, unhinged. It's the Karel Cast. Listen daily on your favorite streaming service.
It is the Karelcast. I am Karel. Very, very late, but that is one of the beauties of doing a podcast and not live radio. Sometimes you got to be late. This morning, everything fought me this morning, and I'd like to say that there was a really great reason, but, well, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to bring you down. We got a lot to talk about today, but now all your interest has peaked. Let's just say that I've been having some gastrointestinal issues since Monday. I've never been diagnosed with IBS, but it's like the symptoms, gas and stomach sounds that are all grrr. And I've been very worried because my output of what has decreased over the last couple of days. Like I normally, 3 times or 4 times, and it was only once. And this morning I had a long conversation with an online doctor, via next thing and with ChatGPT, and that just made me late. Basically, I need to take a probiotic for a week and see if that changes things. But it was an emotional morning as well because I started feeling the weight of what Donald Trump is doing more and more. And the doctor actually said this morning via the telehealth that, because I wanted to ask if I should start a probiotic, given all that I've been tested for. I'm like, is it okay to take one? And they're like, yeah, take one. But the stress, because this morning I read that the Trump administration now wants to search the social media of people coming to this country, even people coming from countries that don't need visas, meaning the UK and Ireland and all of that. And they won't let you in unless your social media account is set to public, to where everybody can see it. If you have a private social media account, they'll make you turn it to public. They want to look at what you've been posting for 5 years before letting you into this country. And that means they're already surveilling the social media of you and I. They already are. And the weight of that played with me because we are moving more and more and more towards authoritarianism, just period, quickly. The midterms aren't going to come fast enough to stop this slide into authoritarian. And it's got to be someone else. It can't be Trump. The guy's fallen asleep. He's jaundiced. He's got bruises like this one. See that bruise right there? That's from blood being taken where she messed up. He's got bruises like that on his hand. So it's got to be someone under him. Jared Kushner or the thought of someone under him. But it's got to be Stephen Miller or somebody. But if they want to search people coming into the country's social media, that means they're already searching yours. And Aaron Parnas said that very thing, that the Department of Defense and FBI are now using a sophisticated software to scrub the nation's social media to find, quote, dissidents, unquote. Well, that's me. I'm a dissident. So the weight of that, along with the gastrointestinal thing, weighted me down this morning. It did. And so I was late. And because I have OCD, I have to do certain things. I mean, I got to the park at 8:45. I could have been home at 9:30, but I had to go do the hills. I can't go to the park and not go. I really have bad OCD when it comes to my morning and afternoon routines. I have to do them. It doesn't make sense, but I have to do it. Could have gone back at lunch and done it, but no, had to do it this morning before the show or else. And so the weight of America is physically affecting me. The notion of them, I wanted to cancel all my social media this morning. But I've got a new single out. Have you heard? Karel, I Dance Because. Are you going to go stream it? It needs 1,000 streams at least on Spotify this week or they'll pull it down. So please, you don't need a Spotify account to use Spotify. Just type in Spotify, Karel, I Dance Because, and go stream it a few times on Spotify for me. But the wait, there's one thing after another. And I was going to talk later in the show. There was a meeting of 4 LGBTQ leaders from really big organizations. And what they had to say was equally as frightening. Because gay rights aren't just gay rights anymore. In other words, gay rights are the right to health care, the right to housing, the right to a job. It's multifaceted now. Because of...
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
So the weight of the Trump administration's evil is really messing with me over this holiday season. Because look, I keep saying, I want to leave the country. I want to leave the country. That sounds like a romantic notion, but the idea of actually doing it's terrifying because I'd be just me and Ember, unless one of you want to come with me. And while it could be an adventure, it would be a complete and total life change. And yet I keep thinking that if I stay before the midterm election, something bad could happen to me. I could be reported as a dissident and have to go and be interviewed. If they come for Don Lemon and David Pakman, and they're gonna. And then the whole social media thing. Is it worth Trump scouring your social media, which they're doing right now in America? They're doing it. And if I leave America and then want to come back in, are they going to scour 5 years of my social media? Because they want to do it to anyone entering the country. It says whether you're from a country that needs a visa or not. They want to scan 5 years of your social media. Well, that means they want to scan the last Trump term and this Trump term and what you did under Biden. And that's scary. And everybody is calling the alarm. Everybody. The digital freedom frontier, all these people are saying, no, this is very, very bad. But no one cares. And if they do care, they're not doing anything about it. And that's my biggest thing. We know LGBTQ rights have been rolled back 50 years in this country. I just watched an entire hour-long meeting of the 4 key AIDS activists in the country, the head of the HRC, the head of GLAAD, and they all say the same thing. This is scary. And I believe in words. I believe that words have power. And you don't use words like authoritarianism, apocalyptic. You don't use those kind of words unless that's really happening. And it is. They want to break up the EU now. It is a goal of the Trump administration to break up the EU and to paint some European nations as not our friends. He wants to go to war with the world except for Russia. That's scary. And the economy, the Fed say they might lower the interest rate again, but the economy, as you know, is tanking. Jobs are not being created. Everything's going up at the stores. You can't afford the holidays. You know you can't. And why? Because Trump and his tariffs have tanked the economy. And now he's going to do that. Here, you want some cash? Here, farmers. I'm going to put aside $12 billion for you farmers. Well, we all need that money. Not just farmers. And not just one time. We could all use several $1,000s a month. I just saw a report. I kept it. Where is it? I just saw a report about how much you need, food insecurity. And this morning over at Desert Breeze Park, they were doing a food giveaway. When I was going up on my motorcycle, they thought I was there. I'm, well, no, I'm just going to the park. But there's lines around the block for free food. And of course, that's so necessary right now. But we're not in great shape. And while 75% of the people that get the free food, that get the SNAPs, or that suffer food insecurity in particular, 75% of those people are making less than $50,000 a year. We have new reports out that 25% of people on food benefits or suffering from food insecurity make 3 times the poverty level in their areas. So what that means is, like, if you're in LA, it means you're making almost $120,000. 3 times? No, 3 times would be 90. Sorry. Well, no, poverty, it's 37,000 in LA. So that would mean you're making $101,000 and you still have food insecurity. We now live in a nation where $100,000 is basically a year, the bare minimum you need to pay your rent, put a little aside for savings, be able to afford food. And yet the national income, the national salary, is $73,000. So most everybody is not making enough money to meet all of their requirements: car payments, insurance payments, food payments. That's scary because it means we are on the verge of collapse. And when it topples, my house won't be worth a thing. When it topples, I'm not sure Social Security or the SAG-AFTRA pension fund will still be there. When it topples, we all may be out there in line for food. Even you people that think, no, I've got some savings, Karel, it's all good. Yeah, but if the stock market tanks, tariffs caused the first Great Depression. Okay? That's what caused the first great, do your history. Tariffs caused, and World War, but we're on the brink of a world war. So we've got the tariffs in place. We're on the brink of a world war. That leads to a Great Depression. Do you want to be here while they're boiling shoes? Because they used to boil shoe leather to make soup. Do you want to be here for that? And you think it can't happen to you? Oh, Karel, I own a nice house. I have a good pension. I have good stocks. Again, if the stock market fails, if it goes bust, your 401k goes with it. If the banks fail, the money you have in them goes away. So no one is safe. And the weight of that this morning weighed so heavy on me that it made me late for the show because I just couldn't get going this morning. I was so demotivated. I did my yoga and my weights, but I wasn't in it, because it's a lot. And I think with the holidays, I've been pushing it out. Much like you, I want to celebrate. I'm going to go see my sister. I'm going to go to Arizona the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Can I afford the $800 for that trip? No, I cannot. Am I putting it on a credit card? Yes, I am. But my sister's not in great health. She's 70. I'm 63. I mean, if I don't start seeing her more, I won't see her. So I have to go. So the weight of all, and even that, trying to plan the trip, $300 for a hotel, $300 for a rental car. It's like, Jesus Christ, why are rental cars $60 a day plus $30 a day for insurance? Oh, you don't have to get the insurance, Karel. Your insurance covers it. Your Amex covers it. Yep, they both do. You're right. But the insurance or the rental car company charges you up front and you have to recoup from your insurance. And I don't want a $25,000 or $30,000 charge should something happen to the car. So I get their damn insurance. I know it's a scam. And I know I shouldn't, but it's the peace of mind that it gives. So all of that weighed on me today. It did. How about y'all? I'm trying to read your chats at the chat room at youtube.com/Really Karel. They ignore our needs because it doesn't align with their intentions. You're right. Our needs have nothing to do with their agenda. They want to bilk the American coffers. They want to drain our coffers dry. They want to leave us broke and in a Great Depression while they take their billions and go to another country. That's exactly what they're doing. I want to book it to Europe, but I can't afford it, and that's what the empire wants. Yeah, I agree. Seems like more people are showing OCD tendencies. I am. I get SNAP, but it's a measly $23. Yeah, my sister gets SNAP, but it's like $204. And I don't want to say that's measly, but you can't eat for 4 weeks on $200. You just can't. I am Plexin. Sandy, hearing the news just makes it harder to concentrate on things like that. Plus, I think about all the gifts I've received that I've never used and need to donate. Amen. I live in subsidized housing. I am not allowed to set aside money for anything. That's true. Because the system that poor people have to participate in is designed to keep them poor and not empower them. If you're on, for instance, Social Security disability, which I earned, I paid into that for decades. I earned the disability, okay? But in 1 month, if I make more than $1,300, which would only bring my income to $3,300, Social Security disability only gives me $1,900. So the max I'm allowed to make is $1,300. If I make that $1,300, that's what? $3,300. You can't live on $3,300. That's not even $60,000, $70,000 a year. You cannot. No, I'm sorry. That's not even $40,000 a year. You cannot live on that. So that's designed to keep you poor. If you retire at 65 or 64 or 66 instead of 67 and you go get a part-time job, they're going to deduct that from your Social Security that you earned. Why? To keep you poor. If you're on SNAP benefits and you make a little extra money, they will cut it out of your benefits. Why? To keep you poor. We don't, in other countries, unemployment insurance is 80% of your income. In other countries, if you're on state or federal aid, they encourage you to go get a job and they don't penalize you. They don't take away your benefits until you reach a certain level. And that level is an actual living wage. Do you know that our poverty level was established in this country in 1966 and they haven't elevated it since? Our poverty level is the price of food times 3. That's what it is from 1966. And they won't raise it. And why won't they raise the level for the poverty level, which right now in the United States, on average, for a single person is $24,000 a year, and for a family is $37,000. Why won't they raise that? Because what president and what politician wants to oversee the largest expansion of poverty in history? So if they raise the poverty level up to what it really should be, which is probably $60,000 or $70,000, that means the number of people in poverty in America goes from 8%, 10%, 12% to 40 or 50%. Well, politicians can't run on that. They can't run on the whole, we oversaw the largest bit of, poverty increase in history. So no politician will adjust the poverty level for what it truly should be. And I believe that ChatGPT actually told me one day what the actual poverty level should be. I could type that in. Let me see. What should the actual poverty level in the USA be in today's economy? Not what the government says. Let's see if ChatGPT can figure that out. Here's a clear reality-based answer, not the government's outdated number, but what poverty in the U.S. actually looks like in 2025 based on real-world expenses. The federal poverty line for a single adult in 2025 is $15,000. They think that if you make $16,000 or $17,000 that you're not in poverty. Think about that for a minute, okay? In a nation where there are billionaires that make 15 grand a minute, and I'm not making that up, think about the fact that they say 15,000 or below is poverty. But 16,000, 18, 20,000, oh, you're not in poverty. That number is absurdly unrealistic and has no relation to modern living. It's based on the 1960s formula that assumed food was 1/3 of the household budget. Today, food is closer to 12%, while housing, healthcare, and transportation have exploded. And healthcare is going to explode because the GOP wants you dead. There is no other reason for them not extending the Obamacare subsidies. They want you to die. They don't want you to be able to afford health insurance. It's all about political wins for them. They just want to put forth a plan that's not Obamacare. They don't care if it's a good plan. They don't care if it's a plan that helps you, but it would be a Republican plan, and that makes it better, even if it's worse. Most independent economists and social scientists and policy analysts agree actual poverty today equals the inability to meet basic needs such as housing, food, transportation, healthcare, utilities, and minimal savings. So what should the poverty line really, truly be in today's world? The government says $15,000 for one person. When we come back, I'll tell you the actual number as figured out by ChatGPT. And your jaw is going to hit the floor. You're going to go, oh, no wonder I'm poor. When we come back.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
So it says housing costs $1,400 a month. I say it costs more. Utilities plus internet $250. Again, that costs more. Food, bare minimum, no eating out, $400 a month. You cannot eat for $400 a month. You can't. And a lot of you are going, oh yes, you can. No, you can starve. You can eat beans and rice every night, but you can't have a nice balance. How do I know? Because fruit and vegetables alone, just fruits and vegetables, are $80 a week. That right there is $320 a month for just fruits and vegetables. Transportation $350, health insurance $450, phone $60, clothing $100, emergency savings $100. The total realistic cost is $38,000 to $42,000, meaning the real poverty line for a single adult in the U.S. should be $40,000 per year. Another economist in the New York Times said, if you don't make $96,000 a year, you're not making it. And yet another economist said $150,000. ChatGPT says 40 below. But see, with the U.S. government, if you're making 40 grand a year, they won't give you any benefits. And yet anything below 40 and you're in poverty. Couples need 65 to 70 minimum. So a family of four, $100,000. The government says 30. Wow. Just wow. So here we have the outdated poverty level. Okay? Outdated. And I'm barely above the 40. With my pension, Patreon, so Patreon gives me 12. The U.S. government, Social Security gives me 24. That's 36. And then my SAG after pension is another 18. So 36, 46, 54. I am $14,000 above poverty, and I have a show and a dog to pay for. Now you guys see why I'm so poor. Why I'm always on here going, please donate, please give. I don't spend a ton of money willy-nilly because I don't have it. And that's depressing to me. I should have it. I am far more talented than Ben Shapiro. I am far more talented than Charlie Kirk. I just don't spew hate. That's the difference. And so all of that got to me this morning. I use your bean, onion, and mushroom Instapot recipe. Oh, yes, it's so good. 8 to 10 meals for $23. Yes, it's very good. Lentils too. Lentils, onions, and mushrooms. Yes, in the Instapot. It's so good. You know what I made last night? Oh my God, I got to share this. So I had a leftover Marie Callender's pie crust from Thanksgiving. And so last night I took a sweet potato and a regular potato and microwaved them. And then I mashed them in the food processor with plant milk, this Tomb garlic spread. It's so good, but only 1 tablespoon because of the fat. I was eating way too much of that. Now I know my LDL was high. So 1 tablespoon of that and then some olive oil. And I whipped that about. I took the pie crust. I took textured vegetable protein. Very affordable. TVP. Buy it. 4 pounds is like $15. I use a cup at a time. So I reconstituted the textured vegetable protein by boiling 1 cup of it in 1 cup of stock, and that softens it up. And I seasoned that with garlic and all kinds of wonderful spices. Put it on the bottom of the pie crust. Then I took peas and carrots, frozen peas, green beans, and carrots, frozen, and put those on top of the TVP. And then I took the mashed whipped potatoes and put those on top of that, and then I baked it. And then I made a gravy out of mushroom, onion, celery, and a vegan bouillon cube called Not Chicken, and made a shit ton of gravy. And I had that for dinner. It was so good, and I have at least 4 more servings left. So it'll see me through lunch for the rest of the week, and that probably costs $10 to make, maybe $10, $15. The pie crust was like $4, and you can make your own pie crust if you want. I don't, but whatever. So that was so good. So yeah, so all of that got to me today, and I don't want it to. I don't want it to. You hear people like Don Lemon, and I believe that Don Lemon is invested. I do. I really do. Don Lemon's a millionaire. So does he face the same challenges as a gay man that I do? No. He does not. Don Lemon has enough money for lawyers and all kinds of people. Should Trump come for him, he has a team that could protect him. Do I have that team? No. Aaron Parnas, that other guy that they dropped the poop on. What was his name? He's young. He's a liberal. They've got millions of followers now. They're making $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a month. Am I? No. Are you? No. So the people that are telling us how horrible Donald Trump is are all insulated from his horror. I believe Rachel Maddow cares. I do. I really do. But she's a multimillionaire and could flee and probably has a plan to flee. I believe people like Stephanie Miller and David Pakman and Tom Hartman, I believe they care. I believe with their whole heart they care. They're also millionaires. They're millionaires. They don't know what it's like to worry about the government check coming every month, whether it's Social Security or your pension check, which is tied to the stock market. And so I appreciate all of them and what they say, but it makes me frustrated because I hear them talking about, Aaron Parnas was the one that said, oh yeah, they're going to start searching 5-year social media and they're going to use software and search American social media. And I'm like, this is great news, but why are you telling us? We can't do anything about that. What are we going to say? No, or delete our social media, I guess. I guess that's what we could do. Just delete all of your accounts. But I know a lot of you like social media. What a time, huh? What a time. What an absolute time. Kirk and Shapiro were bankrolled. Yes, they were. I need a liberal bankroll. I could expand this show, hire a producer, start doing celebrity interviews and wonderful interviews and everything. I just need a producer. I know how to do the show. I'm Karel. I just need a producer, and that costs money. And that's what Charlie Kirk had. That's what Shapiro had, a bankroll, even before they were famous. Part 2 coming up. Don't go anywhere.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
In the words of Baba Wawa, doesn't it make you wanna weep? The United States, the GOP wants you DEAD. We'll talk about that when we come back. Good Lord.
Uncensored, unfiltered, unhinged. It's the Karel Cast. Listen daily on your favorite streaming service.
All right. It is the Karel Cast. I am Karel. You know, I never know where these shows are going to go now that they're an hour. And maybe they suck. I don't suck. Never mind. Self-doubt. I've been full of self-doubt. Do you know how much self-doubt I have? Every day on social media, I see these 25-year-old kids. I'm making $30,000 a month, and all I do is buy real estate. You don't even have to have any money down. Or I use ChatGPT to make $50,000 a month. Or last month, your company made $600,000, and it's like a 20-year-old. And then these podcasters, even Don Lemon. Look, 1 million followers. I just got my plaque from YouTube. I have 3,600 and I'm so happy for them. I am like so grateful that 3,600 people follow me. And yet my YouTube channel is filled with great content. Not just the podcast, the Dorian Awards, the Story in Every Bottle, my music videos, all series, life and segments. My YouTube channel is a fucking network. There's enough stuff there you could just watch me for weeks. And then I hear these other people on YouTube that just sit there with their other ignorant straight friend or two queens and sit there and talk about dick or whatever. I'm not making this up. They sit there and they interview porn stars. Do you know in America it was just revealed that we spend $8 million a day on one website? Do you all know what it is? I'll take your in the chat room. Do you all know what it is? $8 million a day. Do you know what we spend? It's a website, and we spend, as Americans, and it's not Amazon, that would be much more than $8 million. We spend $8 million a day. Come on. Do any of you know? I'm looking at the chat room. No guesses? Come on. I'm Lexion. Do you know? Come on, Granny. James Stable. $8 million a day this website makes in America. Do any of you know what it is? Come on. Oh, this is where I wish we did live radio with call-ins. Because I know you know it. I do. I know you can guess. Come on. $8 million a day. Anybody? Okay. Etsy? Good guess, Michelle. I bet Etsy probably does. You know, I'd have to check. I don't know how much Etsy makes a day. This report wasn't about Etsy. But I don't know if it makes 8 million. Well, maybe it does. There's a lot of sellers on Etsy. Maybe it does. But no, not Etsy. Anybody else? Come on. We all know. Come on, James. Say it, James. You know what it is. Come on. Mm-hmm. You all know. Not that you all use this particular website. Come on. All right. You want a hint? A hint. It's not Pornhub. There's a hint. It's not Pornhub. How about nothing? You guys really can't guess this? I guessed it right off. I knew immediately, right away. It's OnlyFans. OnlyFans. $8 million a day they make in the United States alone. In the United States alone. $8 million a day. Can you imagine? I need an OnlyFans account. $8 million a day. That's a lot of money. That's to watch someone do God knows what. And half the guys on there gay bait. There's a lot of guys on Instagram that are straight, but they gay bait. They act like they're with a buddy and that they're going to do something or whatever. And then you go subscribe to their OnlyFans and they never show the goods. Ever. And they'll act like they're having sex with another guy, but they're not. I can tell they're not. They gay bait because there's money in it. Boy, if I had the body. If I would have been endowed like those people, if I was two-turnt Tony, I'd be worth what he's worth too. You know? Ain't no shame in it. $8 million
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
You know, I'm trying to confirm that figure, but I believe that's what I read. I wonder if ChatGPT, which knows everything, how much does OnlyFans make in one day in the USA? Searching for annual. Okay, good question. Hard to say exactly what we know. OnlyFans reported $7.2 billion in transactions last year. Oh my God. $7 billion in transactions from OnlyFans. According to a 2025 report cited by media, Americans spend a combined $2.64 billion per year on OnlyFans, or $7.9 million per day, or $330,000 per hour, or $91 per second. To say that they're fucking printing money. God damn. God. $8 million a day. A day. $91 a second. Per 1 second. Oh, I have never, ever spent $1 on OnlyFans. Ever. Porn's free. Pornhub. Porn's free. Straight on Gay. There's a website. STR number 8 on Gay. Straight on Gay. You get the straight truckers and the gay boys. Yeah, oh no, porn's free. So why people look, I wanted to see Two-Turnt Tony naked. I did. If you don't know who he is, go look him up. I wanted to see Two-Turnt Tony naked. And I knew he had an OnlyFans. But instead of which he makes over $1 million a month on OnlyFans, this Two-Turnt Tony. So instead of, I'm sorry, not a month. He said last year he made $3 million on OnlyFans. So I just typed in his name, Two-Turnt Tony nude, and photos of him naked came up. I didn't have to pay for OnlyFans because once it's on the internet, it's on the internet. So, don't act like you all don't. A lot of you are like, oh, Karel. Look, sex is natural. Sex is good. Not everybody does it, but everybody should. And while I'm not having it with a human and haven't had it with a human in years, I still am a man. And so, yeah, I look at porn. Absolutely. And OnlyFans I've never gone to. Ever. The thought of paying someone for porn? I've never in my life paid for porn. Even in the 70s and 80s when you went to the adult bookstore and they're all drop quarters, please. They always had it playing on the monitors. I didn't, I knew porn stars. I've had many a porn star friend. I love porn stars. They're some of the nicest people in the world. And I used to shoot photography for a porn movie, which is probably why I've never paid for it, because I know how fake it is. I don't like professional porn. I don't like paid porn actors. I don't like that. I like, someone was with their Uber driver and suddenly, how many Uber drivers have slept? I have seen, it must be staged because I have seen so many guys have sex with their Uber driver. And I'm like, I wouldn't even begin to know how to ask an Uber driver to have sex. But anyway, we got derailed. Well, it's better than talking about Donald Trump. We know he had sex with Stormy Daniels and he paid a lot more than that. Yes, so I've never spent a penny on either of those either, Mr. Holmquist. But $91 a second. My God. There's money in it. Even during a recession. Billions of dollars a year. You know, many people in the music industry have OnlyFans accounts because they can't make enough money touring. In fact, a couple major artists, in the UK said that they have to have an OnlyFans to pay for their tour because the venues are not paying enough. And Ticketmaster keeps so much money and it costs so much money. If you've got even like 5 people with you, that's another reason I'm not out performing with my show, with my song. The venues don't want to pay you to come in and I don't have the money to go and spend to travel. They'll let me come and sing to promote my record, but they won't pay my travel expenses. They might give me $500 or $1,000 for the show, but no travel expenses. So I'm like, well, and they do that. It's not just small artists they're doing that to. They're doing it to major artists who can fill their venue. The artist has to pay for the band, transporting the band, hotels for the band, or dancers. I would need at least 3 dancers. I'm a dance artist. So, 3 dancers aren't free. That's like $1,500 a show. And if I'm only getting 1,000, so anyway. What interesting things you find out here. Did you know that's how much OnlyFans every year made? I bet you never gave it a second thought. That's more, that's more than some podcasters make. I'll tell you that. That's a lot. And my topic today, where I had the GOP wants you dead. People act like policy isn't people. Okay? They act like legislation and things that they vote on, that it's a bill. It's a piece of legislation. It's a piece of politics. They always forget that people are attached to everything they do. So this fight the GOP is having right now with the Democrats over health care, they're all just trying to score political points while you're just trying to see a doctor. Now, Dr. Oz is going to have AI determine Social Security claims. So AI is now going to be used to pre-authorize Social Security claims. And if the chatbot doesn't think you need the test, my friend Steve, he has got regular insurance through his work. He needs an MRI on his knee. The doctor thinks he might have torn his meniscus. He went to have the MRI and they said, we're sorry, your insurance wouldn't approve it. And I was like, wait a minute. The doctor thinks you need it. You're having symptoms. You're limping, and yet your insurance has the right to say no. And so now he has to appeal the decision to not give him an MRI. Now, in most countries, he could just pay for the MRI because they're only $500 in most countries. But in America, an MRI is $3,000 to $5,000. So he can't pay out of pocket. Is that right? People are involved in every piece of policy that our Congress and legislature vote on. Real people. It is December 10th. They have not extended the Obamacare subsidies. Why? Why would any legislature not at least extend those until even if they want to figure out a new plan, even if Republicans want to replace Obamacare, okay, you're the ruling party. If you want to do it, fine. Come up with a plan, vote on it, etc. But in the meantime, don't financially burden people or make it so they can't get insurance at all unless you want them to die. The only reason I can think Republicans have not come up with anything is because they truly don't care if Americans live or die. That's the only reason can you all think of another reason why? Why do you think the GOP is not extending the Obamacare subsidies at least until they can come up with a new plan? Why do you think that? Because the word Obama is attached to it? Is that the reason? Because it's really called the American Care, or what is it? The ACA. You know? I mean, take the word Obama out of it. Why do you think, as Trump was supposed to give a speech on affordability last night, he turned it into an anti-immigrant tirade? Because Trump doesn't care about affordability because he can afford everything. And all of his relatives can afford everything. And everyone in Congress, because of the money we pay them, can afford everything. You know, Congress doesn't have to pay the premiums that you do for their health care. They're the ones that get to vote on what you pay, but they don't have to pay them. Why not? I think every congressperson should live on SNAP and public health care. I really do. I think when you go to Congress, your salary should be the median salary of an average person in your state. So if you're a congressperson from Mississippi and the median income in Mississippi is $51,000, that should be your salary. You should have to live like the average person in your state before you get to vote on legislation that affects the average person in your state. But that would make too much sense, right? That makes too much sense. You know? They have no alternative plan. It's easier to keep it on the books and fundraise off of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. They have no replacement plan for Obamacare. They have no idea of how to get... I have an idea. Medicare for all. We own a healthcare company. Medicare. Get rid of United Healthcare. Get rid of Blue Cross Blue Shield. Get rid of these billion-dollar corporations that make money off of your suffering. Medicare for all. Anyone that needs health insurance buys into the Medicare system as a sliding scale. How much do you make a year? This much. Okay? Your premium is this much. You make a lot of money, you're going to pay a high premium. You make under $60,000 a year, you're going to get it free. You make in between 60 and 120, you're going to have a smaller premium. You make 120 to 200, a medium premium. 200 and above, a large premium. That's it. Wow, how hard is that? That's so hard, right? I mean, Medicare for all. We own an insurance company, which is attached to every doctor and every hospital in the entire country. We own it. We, the people. And if we let people buy into it, the profits would go back into the system, which would then make it last. But no, then United Healthcare wouldn't have billionaires. Then Aetna and Blue Cross Blue Shield wouldn't have multi-million-dollar corporate headquarters and retreats and the money to just throw. No, it is so ridiculous. Why don't we have Medicare for all? The notion that we don't is beyond me. We own an insurance company, but we make Americans buy insurance from somebody else. That's like owning a car and making people rent one to use it. That is so bizarre to me. And so, Republicans, if you're listening, it's not real hard to come up with an alternative plan, Medicare for all. And people buy into the program. Period. You make a certain amount of money, this is your rate. And then think about it. Doctors, think about how much money would be saved at your doctor's office if they only had one insurance company to deal with. One, not 50. Think about how few people they would need. They could cut the workforce in the billing department in half because they'd have one insurance company and everything would be covered. No pre-existing this, no approval that, nothing. Everything the doctor orders is covered. A medical insurance company should not question your doctor. If your doctor says you need it, then that's it. It should be covered. They should not get in the middle. Think about that. That's how it could be. Republicans won't let it be that way. Why? Because they don't care if you live or die. They don't care if you starve. They don't care if you're homeless. Look at the homeless. Does anybody care about those people out there on the street other than hate them, revile them, want them gone? Does anyone actually care if they're hungry, if they need health care? No. No. No one cares. Not on a governmental level. Not in Congress. They don't care. If they did, they'd solve the fucking problem. So the GOP doesn't care if you're homeless. The evidence is on our streets. They're the ruling party right now. They are in control. I don't want to hear about Biden or Obama or Clinton or any of them. The party in control right now. What is it doing to solve homelessness? Nothing. What is it doing to solve hunger in America? Making food more expensive. What are they doing to make healthcare more accessible? Raising the premiums. Now, these are the facts. MAGA, you can argue with me till you're blue in your fucking little pathetic faces. But the fact is, the ruling party right now does not care about people. How do I know? Look around. They care about billionaires. I take that back. They care about millionaires and billionaires. The top 10%. That's it. Not you or me. Just them.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Well, I was just thinking about today's show. I knew I probably should just call in sick today because I was very down this morning. The gravity of all this, because I see the fix. The fix is so easy. I mean, it's so easy to get the country back on track. You just have to have a leader that is brave enough to do for good what Donald Trump is doing to bad. You have to get rid of the Supreme Court in terms of their ideology. Period. Expand it out to where there's more liberals than conservatives and give them all 12-year term limits. Period. Clarence Thomas would be gone. That half of them would be gone. Almost all of them would be gone. 12-year term limits. Same with Congress. Same with the House. Same with the Senate. 12 years. That's it. After 12 years, get your ass back home. Go do something else. Health insurance. That's easy. Medicare for all. People buy into it at different levels, period. And no tiered program where there's better health insurance. This notion of tiered health care, basic, middle, really good, classism in health care. What a bunch of cruel, heartless bitches we are. Classism. On airplanes, better service up there. Why don't you just give better service to everybody? Classism. Classism in healthcare. Oh, you can only afford this. It's like pet insurance. You can buy the emergency only pet insurance for this price. But if you want the insurance that covers illnesses and cancers or whatever, oh, you got to pay this price. And if you want your vet visit covered and your annual blood work covered, then you got to pay this price. That's some bullshit right there. It's the same for people. You want a deductible you can actually afford, oh, then you have to pay this price. We're so cruel. Americans in particular are so cruel. We let people starve. We let people be homeless. We let people go without health care. We discriminate against gays, trans, bi, lesbians, women. We control their bodies, tell them what medical procedures they can have. Now we're trying to tell you what religion you can be. There is an enormous Christian nationalist push going on. So now they want you to even tell you what religion, what God you can worship. Wow. When history is written, they will not look kindly on Americans. They won't. if the planet makes it 200 more years and people live, humans live, when they look back, they will not like Americans. They'll say, wow, what a horrible country. They had all that money. They generated all that wealth, and yet they had poor people. There were people in their country that were almost trillionaires, and yet there were all those poor people. If you just look at it from a distance, you're like, well, this makes no sense at all. It doesn't. Our country makes 0 sense. Oh, for $1 million, you can live here in this nice area. Only have $100,000. Go over there where you may be murdered. That makes no sense. So I guess I'm a socialist. I guess I am. I guess I'm a socialist. Have you heard I got a single out? Have you heard? Karel, I Dance Because. Karel, I Dance Because. Are you going to go stream it? You sure are. Going to listen to it on Spotify? You sure are. Going to listen to it on Apple Music? You sure are. Amazon Music, Tidal, wherever you... YouTube. It's even on YouTube. Type in Karel, Karel, I Dance Because. It's even on YouTube. It's everywhere. Everywhere. Go stream it. Do me a favor. Do me a solid. All right. Sorry I was late. I apologize. We ran over. I know some of you left to go to the Mark Thompson show. Good for you. I love Kim. I love her. And so she was so great to me at KGO, and she often did my show with me, and I love her. So go and see Kim and Mark. I never really met Mark that much. We were at KGO at different times. But, you know, Kim, of course. We were there, Kim McAllister. She was my news lady. So, and she would often like stay and do news topics with me. She's wonderful. So if you go leave and watch her, I understand. She's wonderful. But she's part of the show with Mark. So that's great. Thank you all for joining me today. And again, apologies for being late. I am Karel. Be who you want to be. So don't hurt anybody. We've got one more show of this week. That's tomorrow. I'll try not to be late. I can no guarantees. I never know how the morning's going to go. This morning was rough. It was rough. I got so depressed. I'd like to say I'm human and, you know, present this superhuman facade to you to where I was like, oh no, I never get depressed. I search for answers. I never get depressed. I'm on a quest for the truth. No, I get depressed. You know, I see things in the news and I just think we're powerless right now. Democrats are not doing anything to protect us. They are going to let Donald Trump search through 5 years of people's social media before they come into our country. They're going to let him do that. They're already letting him search through our social media. We have a Fourth Amendment right. Oh, and did you hear that ICE is now, if they walk up to a house to do an enforcement and the house has cameras, they're disabling them. There is video of ICE agents taking out the door cameras, taking out cameras on porches. That's illegal. That's attached to your home. That's a Fourth Amendment violation of the Constitution. But they're doing that so you can't have video of them breaking other constitutional laws. Democrats are letting them do that. So what good are the Democrats? Campaigning, raising money, telling us here that if you don't give us $10, we're not going to win the midterms? Didn't we give you money for Kamala? Nothing happened with that. We gave money to Joe Biden. Did he prosecute Donald Trump? No. The Democrats let Trump happen again. They are the reason for Donald Trump because they didn't put him in jail, which is where he belongs. Joe Biden could have put him in jail. They could have fast-tracked the prosecutions. Biden could have done what Trump did and told the prosecutors, go after him now. And we would have been behind him. The country would not have objected. Oh, MAGA would have, but who cares? Half the Republicans and all Democrats would have been on Biden's side. But he didn't do it. So thanks, Democrats. You've given us a wonderful world to deal with your weakness, infirmity, with your inability to campaign. Thanks. Putting an old man up for a second term. Oh, great party. Thanks. So much. So much gratitude. Oh,
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear.